The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has filed a 4.8 million naira unlawful enrichment charge against Justice Agbadu James Fishim, National Industrial Court. Justice Fishim is one of the 5 judicial officers recently recalled from suspension by the National Judicial Council. Now, the case has been listed for prosecution at the Lagos State High Court in Igboshiri, although it is yet to be assigned to a judge. Joining us now in the studio to look at the war on corruption and its concerns as it concerns the judiciary is a constitutional lawyer, Kennedy Osunwa. Good to have you with us on the News Hour.
Thank you.
Now, let's begin with this. What are your thoughts on this new development from the EFCC, bearing in mind that the anti-graft agency hasn't won most of its corruption cases in court of recent? What are your thoughts?
Well, like I have said, and I continue to say, winning some of these cases is not just very easy like that, because it is based on the evidence that is within the disposal of the prosecution. The burden of proof must be seriously be discharged by the prosecution. So where the prosecution fails to discharge such burden that is on him, on the accused, then the accused will walk home a free man. So it all depends. And like I also say, for any corruption case to be successful in court, the whole gamut of investigation or the investigators also play a very vital role for it to be successful in court.
All right.
Because it is not just coming to court with any sham and you not believe that it will succeed. It will undergo under the fire of examination in chief and cross-examination.
Okay. Many people have argued that this war against corruption as it concerns the judiciary should have started with the NJC, that according to the Constitution, they have the right to an extent to discipline and investigate. That if the executive work in tandem with the NJC, they might just achieve some success. What's your take on that?
Well, I want to state, like in the case of Nwogugu and the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes.
The court in that case enumerated that the NJC has power to appoint and to discipline any erring judge. That's what the Constitution says. And they are not under the control of any other authority. That is the constitutional provision. And of course, you know, the Constitution is the ground norm.
Yeah.
There is any law in Nigeria that runs in conflict with the Constitution to the extent of such inconsistency would abate. So the agency has the power to appoint judges, the power to discipline them. Even in a more recent case, again in 2011, the Openi and Judicial NJC, also the court also referred to Section 158 of 1999 Constitution that empowers the NJC to also appoint, discipline, and that the court made that emphatically, clear the air, that no other authority.
In a nutshell, should these cases, should it have emanated from the NJC instead of the EFCC? That's really the question.
Well, you see, the EFCC, by the act that established the EFCC, you see, the EFCC has also the backing of the law to investigate, prosecute every case that has to do with corruption. And when you look at the case you've cited, it was brought under Section 82A of Criminal Law of Lagos State, which provides that any public officer that unlawfully enriches himself to the extent or substantially that he cannot, or he or she cannot justify by his own salary, that is guilty of that law. And that it is based on that law that the EFCC has, brought this case.
Okay,
but having said that, having said this, on their powers and their right powers to investigate and arraign, judges, as we speak, are also Nigerians. They are human beings. True. They have classmates. They have friends. They have neighbors. And they are not different from, ordinary Nigerians in a way Africans relate. It's only that they are segregated into their shell because of the role that is conferred on them.
Okay, now let's look at the judiciary now and the EFCC. More or less, there's this kind of, will I say, no harmony, between these two, because when you have the cases that has been brought by the EFCC against the judiciary, one is seen as though that they are being targeted. Now, would you say that the judiciary is not going to work with the EFCC to achieve its aim of prosecuting the cases to a logical conclusion? Because of recently, most corruption cases, they haven't, we've not had the end of it all. So what is the difference when we have these cases before the courts?
We will not say that, because I think about yesterday or so, the acting chairman of EFCC also had a press conference where he also stated that EFCC have secured some reasonable convictions, about 100 plus. And, if the EFCC has secured that conviction, also give it to them under Magu. Give it to them. But however, EFCC cannot succeed on this corruption fight without the judiciary. So it is, there must be harmony.
But is there harmony between the two?
There must be harmony.
Or is there a harmony between the two, right now?
Well, look, for the fact, anybody, there's nobody that is above the law. Under the rule of law. There's nobody that is above the law. If the EFCC believes that there is law to prosecute anybody, in their own wisdom, they can. But again, like I always say, look at that law very well. That section 82, sub A. Kennedy. When you look at it very well, you know that the prosecution must do a lot.
We have to leave it there. That same section also was a pitfall for the EFCC with the Saraki case. You remember that? Okay, so but we end it there today. Many thanks for your time and contributions on TVC News Hour.